Good morning, everybody. It's Monday morning, and I hope you all had a great weekend. Cavell, I do see your notices, and we want to wish all of Canada a wonderful celebration about Canada's birthday today. And let's take a moment in prayer asking for peace for the Caribbean islands. And we'll call out to Mother, Father, Wind, and ask it to be in calmness and balance, and to not create a turmoil for whether it's even the water, the land, or the many houses and people, all that are existent together in that area. So again, we'll see grandmother and grandfather Wind and ask them to bring and sit into calmness, to not have it be such an uproar. All right? And good morning, Carol. So let's call in Mother and Father God deep into our hearts. And we're going to bring the tube of light. We'll say it one time here, and then you can each do your second and third time on your own. Beloved, I am presence bright. Round me sail your tube of light. From ascended master flame, called forth now in God's own name. Let it keep my temple free from all discord sent to me. I'm calling forth the violet fire to blaze and transmute all desire, keeping on in freedom's name as I am one with the violet flame. And we'll imagine as you sit there, you're going to do 2 more times, and it is to be done 3 times. We're going to ask for Lord Gautama Buddha to bring forth his protective blue flame out around the energy of our community today, about 5 inches long, around all of it. So we're going to call in the ascended masters and all the angels and those beings of light that live in other universes to come and to either teach us, share with us, or learn from us, however it is appropriate for the day. So let's do our mantra. I am the soul. I am the light divine. I am love. I am will. I am fixed design. Very good. So I had told everyone I would be back today, and here I am. And today is about Horus healing. So I want to talk about a subject that I still think there's never too much for us to understand. And it's about surrendering. So a lot of the beings I'm working with are into getting really nestled down into the safety of Mother and Father within their being, not just in their heart. And how do we do that? But by moving into our root. And what is being discovered by many is there's a surrender that comes with that, a feeling of giving up, a feeling of letting go. And what I can tell you from my own journey, even if a beautiful angel comes and talks to you and gives you, it's not to give that empowerment, it's to let it go. If that's true, then you have received it, and somehow it will touch your path. But we are attempting to shift that ego, that we all have one, there's no changing it, and allowing it to bring us into our understanding of peace within our hearts. So I would like you to join me today as we take a breath and we begin to move through the inner channel of who we are. It can be 1/4 of an inch wide, it could be miles wide. It depends on where you are and how you developed or non-developed your energy field. So as we bring it down, we move through the heart and the solar plexus and the second chakra. When we get to the root, to the root, we're going to move through the larva That's all that's being in that hurricane, that volcano, and take us down through into a lower deck down below our feet. And there we have numerous choices of how we want to continue into another whole depth of being rooted. We want to climb down the Bodhi tree, which is saying to you that there are many things where the truths are all needing to be unraveled. And as the brain must work to put one hand here, foot here, hand here, that is going to begin to teach you to unsolve things and to relax. And then there is the option of going down the slide, and that says to me that you're ready. Let's just go down. And then, of course, there's the experiential one, to imagine yourself being an angel and opening, stepping off the deck, and allowing yourself to fly. Who does this? This is one who's already connected with God and has that understanding and faith and belief that when you go to move, you're going to have an awareness from the greater part of your divinity that knows how to fly. And good morning, Lauren. So where does surrender comes in? Surrender comes in as soon as you let go of believing that you're human. It comes in when you decide there's a divine aspect to you, that God has filled your heart, and God and Mother and Christ are all alive within you, and that you're more than what you look at and see in the mirror. You're a consciousness. What is consciousness? Consciousness is that space that grows from feeling peace and harmony and love. And it comes out through the skin and out around your field. And depending on who you are and how you put that all into action, depends on not only how much your consciousness expands, but how far it lifts you up and about. So surrendering is a big piece. It comes close to creating a humility of anything that I know. It took me 40 years on this journey to where I am today. And I would say many things have been pointed out to me or told to me, but I still took the time to develop and to see and to discover the understanding myself. A lot of people today see something done. Oh, I can do that. And they don't allow themselves the experience of the development of that within them. Do both work? No. Because it depends on if you're wanting to really be who you are or you want to be like someone. So it was never for me because I knew I was unique. We are all unique. We're not the same as any individual. Our journeys, our pathways, many lifetimes have all been unique. They've all built who you are. They've all actually developed to the level that you are who you are till today. So rooting, getting so you can substantially remain rooted during your life and being at peace, and surrendering to that whichever comes, and to give up judgment. I think judgment is a key word about that, and let me write that word down for you. For I know every millisecond of the day I'm still growing, and I must always challenge myself to be aware of how is my beingness, my consciousness, learning, taking, and developing everything I hear and experience. I don't want to mimic someone. I want to be unique and be who I am. As the who I am has a consciousness of a number of experiences that have lived on life in this earth. I've had 149,000 plus years upon earth. So I hope you can get what I'm saying. is take a moment today and love who you are without determining who that is, and allow yourself to go into the discovery of that by working into your root. Everyone's saying to me, oh, I feel much more peaceful. And why is that? Because that moving into the grounding and surrendering is allowing you to be so much more open and willing to receive information that is the truth. When you are up in this part of you, it's pretending. It's, oh, I can see that. Well, I can think that. And it's not having the same awareness. It's a process that takes time. It takes time. Well, in my world, it took years, you know. And I would say my path really started moving when we met Saint Germain and the people who are him and Lady Portia. She was the energy of Mother, quite a great teacher. And then a different way came, and for 9 months I studied about what it would be like to be a mother. How would you address things? How would you feel about things? All of it continuing to develop me as a person. For instance, back in 1996 when we were in Thailand, a very high teacher there said, you're only first voice I've seen that's golden. And I'm like, what, is he crazy? I can't imagine I have a golden throat. I could not see it myself. I had to work and develop it to where I could have that perception of myself. So you see, if I were to all of a sudden to pretend back then, it most likely would not have worked even though it was there. Because you only learn how to do it by the development, by giving it the empowerment to know what really exists. And it's all emptiness that you think or you say. So I went on about, watched as I was initiated into the Babaji meditation, my voice changed. I went from not being able to sound good singing it to sounding beautiful. And I was told by my teacher, when it's God's voice, you'll know the difference. And it's like the encompassment of almost every word and breath becomes from his light, totally a difference. So today, this discussion with you is about taking the time to let it be that it's you that's growing, not that you're mimicking. And you may think I'm being a little crazy, but one day you're going to sit back and watch the world and you're going to understand what I'm saying. It isn't about being someone else or like someone else. There's a uniqueness that exists within every person. And you may not have it right away. You may have to learn more about your mastery before you even have a real clue about who you are, how it looks, and what you must do to bring that into the world. So I'm here today to encourage uniqueness. Let's think of America and Canada, both very powerful countries, but in their own way. And therefore certain people that love being there just as all the countries around the world. And then think to how there are even experiences on other planets, but they're unique and different. Most the higher consciousness, but we're getting there. It isn't like a snap of the fingers and, oh, we're like them. It's never been about being like someone else. It's been about doing the work inside ourselves, discovering what we don't think is beautiful about ourselves and changing that into being beautiful. What I learned is you become beautiful, not only in your heart and all the cells in your body, but you look with your light beautiful. Because when you're not, there's a different face, it's a different experience that's happening and moving out into the world. And I'm speaking from experience. You don't want that. You don't want to be that. You want to take your time, begin to love yourself. What does love feel like? What do you feel like? Just taking a deep breath into your heart and sitting with it. What does the love of that heart feel like? And then taking it and expanding it out to really know. If you don't take the time to do that, and then deepen it to where you can have a feeling of consciousness to other people, you've missed something very precious, and you won't be able to move further on your journey. So, surrender. Give up who you are, who you're going to be, and do the simplicity. Work with your consciousness. Let it begin to share with you what it does know. Well, none of us know. Yes, we've all had other lifetimes, but it doesn't come up perfectly unless it's meant to. Slowly, you might get it. So relax. The ego doesn't know the answers you need. The ego does not know the answers that you need. The heart will, but it depends on how you enter your heart. From a knowingness that you're a part of God and Jesus is your brother, or from a place that I must be it. I can do anything. I can make anything happen. If they can do it, I can do it. Not how it works. It's falling in love with yourself and your ability to have strength to keep walking. Sometimes we all stumble, and the path isn't going to be easy. It's not how it was made. It's not why it is. The masters, when you do reach to them and get to that level, they give you a lesson and they don't give you anything else until you've learned that lesson. Some of you may be learning that, or if you haven't yet, you will. Because if you've chosen to be on the path of light, it's to be the light. It's not to be half and half. So, if anyone has questions today, you can certainly ask me. Yes, I want you to learn. At first, you'll have to root yourself many times throughout the day, and I know you've heard me, and I'm saying it again, because I still am not saying that everybody who comes here is strongly rooted. And beyond that, they're not surrendered into where the journey's taking them. It's about love. The magic in healing is love. And it's the depth of love that you can hold within your heart that is the power where God is. It's not how much money exists within your heart. In our world today, there's a lot about money. Certainly, we all need money to live and to survive. But when you have that love of God that fills your heart, somehow it will always find its way to you. Somehow it will always show up. So there's many lessons upon the path, many experiences to move through, to embrace, and to get excited about every time you have a realization, but not one that makes you feel important, one that makes you feel more whole. Sometimes we don't like our separateness, and yet that's not why it's there. It's there for you to embrace and grow from, learn from, until one day you won't even remember what it was that began it. But the story will begin and you'll be so excited. And whether it's anger or whether it's disappointment, it could be just a simple thing. But if you can begin to love it and let it speak to you and listen with a loving heart, you will have the secret to all of it. And it's one step at a time. One step at a time. It may not always look like the one you just completed, but it's deepening the task of who you are. It's telling you, oh, I'm afraid to walk through that flame if you were with one of the masters of the Far East. And he'll say, take my hand and walk you straight through it, because you have gotten to where you know the fire isn't real. It's a place in consciousness that the fire is around you, that it ignites itself. The first lesson that a student learns is about fire. So, if you haven't studied that or don't know that, then you know. You know now. First, good morning, Alia. I'm not sure. Oh, you're from Italy. Thank you very much for coming today. We're talking about surrendering and discovering, rooting yourself to know who you are. So when you get down all the way to the center of the earth is when you're truly rooted. Mother will be there. That is where she tends to reside more than not. And you will find a great peace and realization. And you won't find yourself overwhelmed by the day, overwhelmed by the year, the month. You'll be in the moment. You will begin to live in the moment with happiness and peace. So, does anyone have any questions about any of the things I've said today? As you can see, Babaji is sitting right here with all of us and his beautiful, probably about almost 2,600-year-old self. And he achieved that mastery at 19. Just think of it. 19. Yes, good morning, Lauren. I do think we've talked about this before, but your answer to that is going to be, have you been doing your protection? Because if there's a time when you have been open to that, which I think we've experienced it, but also that when you learn to do the tube of light and some other possibilities, then nothing can interfere with you. I see the question of, is my power and energy being invaded and violated? So Aya is saying she has a strong call to meditate. Why? Meditation does many things, and it's going to depend on what type of meditation you do. For those who are drawn to use Babaji's techniques, you transcend within the depth of who you are within 2 minutes. It begins to balance your consciousness, your energy. You live in a balanced state for 24 hours if you do it 20 minutes twice a day. It is peaceful. And at the same time, it is a healing technique. So it will go to where what you need is the most, and it will start to let go. It's a technique of letting go of what isn't your truth. And each time you are leaving much more at peace. And Lauren says, yes, thank you. I make profound meditation with Kafani, raising and, I get what you're saying. And also experience the samadhi states. They are long meditations. Like I said, there are 40 true meditations. There are others who are like we were talking about with the ego. They're really not going to do anything for you. If you do the Babaji, you're going to feel difference. My husband and I met when we went to learn the Bija. That's been 30 years ago. Our 30th anniversary is this Sunday. And we have done nothing but develop and become more light. So, it's amazing. There were times giving initiations that actually Babaji came in the room. The people who had that happens to are ones who had meditated with him, and he showed himself to them. Very powerful. It's a very powerful. It's a sacred ceremony of 5,000 years old. That's saying it's not a religious ceremony. It's a sacred ceremony. So if you feel you're growing, Anya, with what you're doing, then that's fine. If you're still looking for something more, then you may want to consider that which I teach. And after we came back from Thailand, my husband went around the country doing seminars teaching the heart seed to a lot of people, changing lives. Here's the kind of thing that would change. Someone who was a real estate agent making tons of money gave it all up to go to San Francisco, become a counselor to help people. It helps you find who you are and what your path is all about. They used to call us the Johnny Appleseed people because we were given seeds in the heart that grew a grove of truth. Okay. Any other questions? So, Lauren, I pray for you and that you can just begin to do the technique that will keep you clear so that some of the wounds I see in your aura can begin to mend and to heal, and hold your heart in love, and you will begin to feel better. So today our conversation was about surrendering and being rooted, and that it's time to let the ego be that which it is. Just a process of the human when it first comes into the world. There's many people who choose when they're young, 7 years old, when they finally leave their parents, they decide to know more about God. Whether or not you've heard of them or not, doesn't matter. It does happen. So I want everyone to leave today knowing, let me get rooted. Let me go down into the earth and feel how powerful it is, how you'll connect to the trees. You'll see the aura around the trees. You see, like we have 35 geese out back. You can see the aura, each of those little geese. It's so magical. Now we have a hawk that comes, an osprey that comes. Our heart energy is drawing all the animals in the area. It's quite profound and yet nurturing, not only to them, but also to us. So, yes, let me see if I forgot anybody here. I so appreciate all of you coming. You're welcome, Cavell. I will continue to make them over the next week, I'm hearing, because we can help with grandmother, grandfather, wind, help the energy of the blowing. The waters are something a little bit different, but I will work with everything. And if it's purpose and if it's allowed, we will calm things down. If not, you see, because some things happen because people need to learn something. That in our prayers we cannot change. And it is to bless people for whoever that is, that they become awake and they begin to understand what their lesson is and to make a movement inside themselves, you see. So we have to understand where things are created from, and they're created from within the mind. Lots of things. So it isn't always that we can support, but I will from my heart in intention, and we'll see what happens. How's that sound? Thank you, Cavell. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Alia. Thank you, Carol, everyone for coming today. I think this is such a powerful lesson. I will be here tomorrow to bring messages from Mother to everyone. So see what you might put into your dreams, what you might want to know, and how it's not so much a psychic thing as Mother messages are about healing and where you need to be on your path or how you get there. It's very fascinating, at least for me as the experiencer. So they've been getting quite powerful lately, so I hope you enjoy them. And come back and see me tomorrow at 11. My name's TheoSophia, and I come with Babaji, Lady Tara, so many beings that are here for you. And I'm thrilled to be able to be that conduit. Many blessings.